Okay, nice deep breath in, everybody. And in your mind's eye, I want to see you standing still. I want you to feel yourself being still, sense yourself being still, and picture yourself as you are in this moment in time being still. Just standing still right there in front of yourself. And as you're creating that picture and creating the feel of it, allow yourself to relax. Let your energy system be reminded that you are in a safe and sacred space. Allow your physical body to become at ease, at rest. And just get fully present and quiet and grounded while picturing yourself, imagining yourself, sensing yourself standing proud and tall and present in front of you. And when that image is clear, there in your mind's eye, I want you to label it. See yourself standing in front of you and label that self, me in the world. In tacit acknowledgement that your innermost self, your most intimate sense of yourself is within, and that the active doing self is here in the world. But even when you come to meditation and you are part of this network and this specific group, it is you being in the world. That there is an outer world and an inner world. So see yourself there in the outer world. See your physical body incarnated. See it with its auric field, busy transmitting information all the time. See it with all of its aches and pains, and see it with all of its potential. And then very gently, wherever you have located this meditation group, wherever you have located this voice, this energy that has been channeling and channeling and channeling for 228 meditations or more. Wherever you have located the meeting place inside of you, locate it on that doing being outside of you. If you meet with the energy of these meditations in your heart center, place a focal point in the heart center of your doing being outside of you. If it is your third eye, or your throat, or your crown, or your sacral chakra, place that focal point in the midst of the chakras. If you have chosen a point of your physical body, place the focal point there so you can see it clearly. You can identify it amongst all of the other colors and visions of yourself. And even as you place it there in your mind's eye, if you can reach, with your left hand, place it on your physical body. Place just one finger or two fingers of your left hand on the location on your actual physical body. Create the focal point that connects you to that alpha state of being still. And once you have established that, just breathe for a moment and rest. And feel, allow the focal point on your projected self and the focal point of you as identified it on your physical being to just flow, to just be. To simply experience, there in the quiet of yourself, how this meeting happens, how this meeting and moving into that quiet space unfolds. And in your mind's eye, you may feel or sense or see or experience a connection between the identical points, between the actuality of your incarnated self and the intention of your projected self. Of I within and I in the world. Don't force it. Just be quiet. Stay focused. Let it unfold. Let it come to you. Let it arise within you. And let the connectedness get stronger, established, unbreachable. And if in your mind's eye becomes a cord or a chain, any kind of linking device, allow it. Let it get thick, strong, unbreachable. And now let us play with it. With sheer intention, pull that self in. reel yourself in using the connection. Just bringing your outer self from the world closer, inward, homeward, to your inner self. And when it feels like the cord or the bond or the connection or the chain or the links are almost at an end, cast yourself out again. Send yourself out into the universe as if you are casting a fishing line. Send yourself further towards the horizon. There in your mind's eye, send yourself as far as possible. Project yourself as far as possible, as if you are flying a kite. Higher is okay. Lower is fine. Horizontal towards the horizon's good too. And when you have projected yourself there, reel yourself in. We're going to do it one more time. One more time of sending yourself into the world. And this time, I want you to send yourself into the world, into a familiar space of discomfort, a familiar space of tension or stress for yourself. And see yourself there with that connection in full. See yourself there with the flow in that connection. And as we acknowledge that this is a space of discomfort, we're going to give you, in your entirety, in your wholeness, the instruction to be, to just be detached, to be present, to be nothing, to be okay, to allow, to be in the now moment. And for yourself, I want you to register if your projected self returned to you, or if you moved into the same space as your projected self on that instruction. There is no judgment about the direction of the flow. There is only the experiencing and learning what you have chosen intuitively, unconsciously. So just feel that shift for yourself. And wherever it is whichever way you flowed, go back into feeling the connection between you and your projected self, all the while keeping your finger on the space of location. And sitting there quietly with yourself, I want you to practice this on your own. Send your energy or project yourself into the world. And this time, when you bring yourself back, experience for yourself if it happens faster, if it happens more easily, more intuitively, whether you can project yourself out easily and bring yourself back almost instantaneously. Just practicing, going outward into the world and recalling myself. Going outward into the world and returning to myself. Going outward into the world and joining myself. You may even experience the going outward into the world and meeting myself halfway. Whichever flow works most easily for you, most intuitively for you, use that. Whichever one comes most naturally to you, use that. And there where your left hand is placed over the location, we are going to tap the instruction that when you have sent yourself out, you tap 3 times on your location with a return to self. Return to self. Return to self. And intuitively you will know if that location has responded. If it is receiving the instruction, and if your brain is questioning, will this work? How does this work? This isn't logical. Whatever your brain is doing with this, do it again. Ignore your brain for a moment. Ignore the questions and the doubts. and tell that part of your being, return to self. Return to self. Return to self. Bearing in mind that this is the location where we meet. This is the location at which I trigger off my being at zero, fully capable of moving into one and flowing back into source state, zero state, focal point, constantly in a flow of meeting the world and returning to self, meeting the world and returning to self. So now when you project yourself into the world and you simply tap that space 3 times, do you return to self? Do you meet yourself halfway? Whatever the direction of the flow is the trigger point, operative, functional. Simply play with it. Lighten up. Have fun. You may see yourself as a kite flying high in the sky, and the tapping of return to self brings that kite safely home, out of the storms and buffeting winds. You may see yourself as a ship sailing along until you get to stormy seas, being returned to safe harbor. Or you may see yourself as a being in the world constantly at work with surviving and living and doing, feeling and sharing. And when the going gets tough, that the rest of you arrives, standing up behind you and fanning out behind you exactly like Spirit does, to make sure that you are supported by Source, that the stillness is wherever you are. Of course, you now have a new mantra that wherever you are, whatever you are doing, with whomever you are interacting, you are able to return to self. Whatever the reaction that has been present in that interaction, you may return to self. Even if you have launched into a reaction, you may breathe in and return to self. And on a deep breath in, get grounded once more and return self to the room, to this moment, here and now.